Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome along to the National Hockey Centre here in Glasgow for day 3 then of the EuroHockey Championship 2, and 2 more games focusing on the other pool. We've seen quite a bit of good action over the first day and yesterday as well, but focus here on these 4 sides. Scotland against Portugal is the later game at 6:30, but the first game up is Ukraine taking on France. And France needing to bounce back, particularly after the defeat to Scotland on the opening day. Ukraine put plenty of goals by Portugal, 7 goals. In fact, in an entertaining game, both sides tried to play open, but Ukraine very much on top. So 3 points apiece for this, so could make or break a competition for one or certainly the other of the sides here. It has been a good start to the competition. Looking forward to this one. So sides getting ready to come on to the field. We'll look at the sides, and for Ukraine, well, plenty of goal scorers in that game against Portugal. A couple for Kosciuszko. Kovalenko was lively. Lupa is someone to watch out for. Dmitry Lupa from penalty corners. He scored the opener the other day. And Pavel Mazur is the head coach for this Ukrainian side, who did have that good start. For the French lane, looking to bounce back. 1 or 2 of their big performers didn't really turn up, but Hugo instead does have the captain's armband. Victor Charlie is a bit of a doubt. He is on the sidelines. We may see him, but likelihood they might not. Nicolas Dumont is one of those that's been lively during the World League, particularly towards the semi-final stage, as was Peter van Straten, but he was one of those that wasn't quite up to his usual best in the first game. Gail Foulard has seen a lot of this side come through from the Junior World Cup 4 years ago, and now they're on this stage trying to get back into the top tier of the EuroHockey Championship. Now it's going to be a bit of a pause in just a moment for the national anthems. It's a glorious day. It is short sleeve weather, which has been a bit of a culture shock after the first couple of days, which has been predominantly full of rain. Coach, someone that's been a part of the Commonwealth Games in terms of the board, Neil Stark is alongside myself, Cal Patterson, for this first game. I'm sure we'll talk more after the anthems, but a quick thought on this first one, Neil.
I think it's going to be really interesting, Cam. They met in the Hockey League Ireland, and the French came out subsequent winners by about 11-2, and there was 7-0 up at half time, all field goals. But that'll make the Ukrainians very strong to come out and make sure they don't lose goals early.
Here's the anthems. So anthem's well sung, as ever the French with their full-on passion, and we're just a couple of minutes away. So just briefly, we were talking before the anthem about how this might shape up today, and mentioned about the World League meeting, and France were very much dominant in that game at half-time and at full-time. 11 goals put past Ukraine in that World League 2, plenty of different goal scorers as well. So at times we've done a little bit, but France have got this extra pressure this afternoon because they know they need to get a win here after what happened the other day.
No, absolutely. Interestingly, when they were in Johannesburg at the Hockey World League semi-finals, they scored 14 goals, and they were playing against good sides like Australia and New Zealand, so they've shown a capability of scoring, and I think everybody would be in agreement that Tommy Alexander, the Scotland goalkeeper, was just outstanding on Sunday. His penalty stroke save and at penalty corners. And although the French have lost their main penalty corner striker Charlie, when they were in South Africa, they did have 3 different people scoring penalty corners. So they do have other options. It'll be interesting to see how they get on. Ukraine coming very strongly after obviously a good performance against Portugal, where they played with good discipline. They kept the ball, and they didn't start very well. You and Alan, we commented on it, but they didn't start the first 2 or 3 quarters with any great intensity. I think the concern for me will be the French have come from playing the top sides in the world, so they should be playing at a higher intensity. Same as Scotland coming from London, they should be playing at a higher intensity, and if they do get a good start, then Ukraine could find themselves chasing the game if they lose a couple of goals early on.
Yeah, it was a point when, as you mentioned, we said the other day on Sunday, the game against Portugal, it was just a case of they seemed to out-fitness the Portuguese towards the end of pretty much every quarter, and 1 or 2 missed chances the other way. It could have been a slightly closer game, but Ukraine just kind of overran the Portuguese in the end, who are the lowest ranked sides here. Ukraine 25th, just dropping 1 place earlier than where they were in the year, but France the top seeds here, so very much looking to try and bounce back as Ukraine get a score in the yellow and looking to try and make a better start, as didn't seem to do in the game against Portugal. Trying to rush one in, scored a couple against the Portuguese. Stolen back well filled by Hugo Vincent, who is a key player. So he's got that armband because Victor Charlie picking up an injury, which is a blow. Forgery switched it across. Peters Dutz heading it forward. Martin Bresak had a lively game the other day as well in the game with Scotland. 19 tiny events, just a little slip, which gives the possession back to Ukraine. Nice run from Bohdan Kovalenko. Plenty of time. Cleared away by the French. Costimo winning that one back. Peter Van Straten, nice space for Martin Bresak. Getting the time, just trying to barge his way, bruise his way through the middle.
Man wide right for them to open up. Good start. Both teams looking to make opportunities going forward.
Peters Dutz forward again for Simon Martin Bresak, back in steady play here from the French. Instead, flicking it back wide, here he is on score, just playmaking all the passes, good possession here over the last minute or so, twisting the turn from Dumont. fed it in. Van Straten trying to get a strike away.
Good patience by the French, building the ball up, going into the pivot position, coming back out and creating that ball in the inside channel.
Fed it in. Van Straten.
He's still very young, 21, but amassed a heck of a load of caps for the French. Plays for Racing.
French player rather upset there with the umpire, suggesting that he was stick obstructing and shielding the ball from the Ukrainian tackle.
Kovalenko trying to keep it in his path. Good strength to try and outmuscle some space. Closing up very quickly as Step was back. And the French have it back. Very open start. Victor Lockwood assessing who's around him. Tried to spot the space and find Deron, but Kali Kalinchuk was there. Now Sevchuk. Kalinchuk was trying to find some support. Space, give back by
Lovely
Martin
1-2.
Bresak. Into the D it goes and fired away and wide. But a good burst of pace and good movement.
Space, give back. Lovely 1-2. Into the D it goes and fired away and wide.
With ferocious effort.
Nice 1-2 to create that in the inside right channel, and then drive into the circle with a tomahawk shot to the back post. French are so mobile in midfield that the Ukrainians are finding it hard to just pick everybody up, and their marking is sometimes getting lost.
They have just gifted that one back. It's had to be kicked away. Bordiev rescues and across for Guez and Victor Lockwood. Space spotted once more. Elliot Curty with it. Curty, good control, just not quite keeping it in. One of the clutch of 18-year-olds, three of them that were involved here last year in Glasgow at the Under-18 EuroHockey Championship. France sealed promotion to the top tier of that competition, so these three young lads in there, Elliot Curty, Maury Belanger, Etienne Taineves, the three that have made up the step up into this competition with the senior side and have been big parts in the World League as well.
Ukraine is not managing to find their short passing pattern that they used against Portugal. The French are blocking that out, and they're now having to force long balls, and then they're having to do a lot of work defensively to pick up the mobility of the French midfielders.
Lupa trying to get out of danger, but instead only gave it to Curty. Victor Lockwood. And that will dribble away by the baseline.
In Ukraine there was only one forward in the French half, trying to get an aerial ball to him, but he really didn't have any options once he got it. If he had managed to pick it up, French have really got most of the control at the moment. You can see Ukraine, they've got one forward, number 13, Onrif, who's chasing almost the back three or four of the French team.
Back it went to Goye, who picked out the space. Can they control it on the edge of the circle? Martin Bresak is lively around there again, but Ukraine have managed to pick it back through Daichuk, but not for long. Every time Ukraine seem to get the ball back, they can't keep hold of it. Who's had caps for Belgium, but allegiances changed. Across it went from Curty, and once again just the steady.
A lot of space now
passing.
down the left-hand side.
Belgium trying to go for something a bit different. Glasgow is not going to take that, a bit too much meat on it. Skipped through Kovalenko, trying to keep it in his grasp, but a teammate ahead picked it up on the Farouk and drills it just by the goal, but a little bit of space opened up, but not the end product for Ukraine. A rare chance forward.
They only really created that because 2 or 3 people missed the ball as it bounced through in the middle of the park. He'll be disappointed. He was going to the correct post, make the keeper bring the ball back into play when he saves it, but not really on target.
Great angle from behind the goal.
Great work by the French number 9 there. Spotted that the Ukrainians had a little bit of an overlap going down the left-hand side, and he worked across rather than doing his normal role of actually stopping them, bringing the ball back. Worked across to cut the midfield player out. Good game sense.
Lupa trying to get it forward for Ukraine. Ball shoot back it goes, and back to Alexander, or officially Pazik rather. There's some space open up here for Sergei Dachuk, trying to out-muscle Baumgarten. Scramble continues in the corner. Serchuk with support. Dribbles away. Across and Pazukin again.
Almost a similar start to the last game with Ukraine against Portugal. First 10 minutes, mainly France, and now Ukraine are starting to get a little bit of possession in dangerous areas.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing in my head there. Great minds think alike. It's similar sort of pattern. Good spot to try and fire something in. Danchenko couldn't keep it alive.
First 10 minutes you had France at times with 10 players, outfield players in the Ukrainian half. Now you've got all 10 Ukrainian players in the French half.
Forward for Curty, good link up here, Belgium, and further support down that side. Van Straten trying to make a run into the D. Belgium continued out of room.
Unfortunately, his first touch didn't allow him to give the pass down the line that he was looking for, forced him into a dribble, and I don't think he was really sure what he was trying to get from that.
Turn away and maybe a chance here. Out wide is Kovalenko. Trying to skiff it by Peters Juice. Shevchuk tried to help on its way and just ushered out by the French.
It was good play by the Ukrainians. They built it up down the left-hand side. I'm surprised that France weren't able to step in front and intercept it, because they forced the Ukrainians to go down there. You would have thought that the defenders were aware of what was required from them.
Durant could run this for Dumont. Skips by, slip in there, and Dumont just take the Off the ball, it was a good initial run. Almost took advantage of the Ukrainian slip of Vitaly Shevchuk. Couple minutes left in this first quarter.
Another break down the left-hand side. Ukrainians do that quite nicely. They build up that left-hand side. The French are actually giving them it just now. They're forcing them to go down there, but they're still getting some reasonable success in coming into the midfield and then heading along to the wide forward.
And it went from Peters Jutes, picked out a lovely pass, and the French have got into a good space. Back it comes to Goye. That was an excellent tackle, an excellent interception from Vitaly Shevchuk. Shevchuk gets it back. Odin Kovalenko. Down this channel again. They come. Goye struggling to try and win the ball back. They do recover the French.
Great challenge by the French defence, not diving into the tackle, making the guy run and waiting their opportunity to get the tackle with the flat stick. Last minute, some good hockey.
Bellinger down that right channel once more. That pass, is it going to break up here? It could have almost broken up through. Martin Bresak couldn't quite get a stick onto it, and instead. Peter Jutes in to the. Here it goes. Tynevez trying to twist away. That comes to the end, that move.
Yeah, French player penalised because by using his 3D skills, he brought the ball up in a dangerous area and in a dangerous way. But the French have been good up to the circle line. I think the coach will be a bit disappointed that they haven't taken advantage of that.
So the end of the first quarter then, it's been pretty end to end. French had the better start of this first quarter. Ukrainians built their way into it, similar to the game a couple of days ago against Portugal, but no goals as yet in this first period. So time for the players to get a drink, and it's a warm day here, about 20 degrees here in Glasgow, which is nice, and some of the LA fans in for both sides. Some of them neutrals, Portugal, I've seen were around earlier in the stands getting ready, of course playing later on against Scotland. That's the game at 6:30. Here's some of the best of the action from the first quarter. Not too many chances, but one or two moments. The French getting off to the front foot early on.
Yeah, if you look at that, the Ukrainian keeper doesn't stay still, and if the French can actually get shots in the corner, he's quite small. He tends to go backwards when he makes a save, as we found a couple of times against Portugal. So they can take advantage of that, but they need to get it on target. French keeper looked as though he had that covered if it was going in the far post. The French have had about 8 what we call circle penetrations, so they're managing to build the ball up, they're managing to get into the danger area, but they have one shot that went past the post. The keeper has had to play the ball out of the danger area. It wasn't really a shot, but if I was the French coach, I'd be really disappointed that they haven't managed to get any penalty corners. They haven't really had quality shots, and that part of that's down to a very strong Ukrainian defence as well. The Ukrainians have had a couple of chances in the circle latterly, last 4 or 5 minutes of the half. Again, if I was their coach, I'd be slightly disappointed at the way they started. They could have been a goal or two down by the lack of intensity. And their poor marking of the French midfield. Very mobile midfield and forward line from the French. They're moving about a lot and asking questions of the Ukrainian midfield.
It's underway then for the second quarter, and 0-0 it is. Thanks for joining our live coverage on the Scottish hockey platforms, YouTube or Facebook, wherever you're watching our coverage. And it is another cracking day of hockey. A great start to the competition, and talked about, especially yesterday, the second game in the group stage is probably the most important, as it can make or break the competition. The Frenchmen will really need to get a win on the board after defeat Ukraine. Got their 3 points. If they can take something from this, they'll be delighted. Back here with the French and Baumgarten. It's slid in and he has to come out there, Horry.
Again, if you look at that replay and look at where the Ukrainian goalkeeper was when he made that save, actually falling back onto his bottom, which means that he's unlikely to be able to make any second save if the shot comes back in again. Most goalkeeper coaches will be wanting them to stay up in their weight going forward.
Players are going to point for the penalty corner, bounce up off an arm.
First penalty corner.
Here's another look at that in the
You see the goalkeeper falling back. So he kicks away, but because he kicks his weights backward, he ends up falling on his back, not really there to make a second save if there is one. Okay, so the French have to have a different setup now. They've got double castle as they had yesterday, or on Sunday rather.
Peters Dukes is around. What's his option? It's going to be Peters Dukes with this. Now you get a second try, and it's going to slide in. And well, you just talked about the keeping there, Neil. Bodies all over the floor. French, it seemed a bit easy that.
Yeah, it's good tomahawk. It comes out. The Ukrainians have changed their defence, come with a 3-1. First runner gets out, comes across the tomahawk. Goalkeeper's feet are apart, and he doesn't manage to get them close for the tomahawk shot. Post player tries his best to stop it going in.
Yeah, a bit lucky. Dyachenko on the line.
It's hard. The goalkeeper made the decision to go forward, to go for the ball. Unfortunately, we would normally be looking for one of our players to get out there quickly. As soon as the goalkeeper goes out, it's normally easier to create a scoring opportunity.
Ukrainian side trying to bounce back here. Shevchuk running out the road. Well,
yeah, it's important in hockey, and same in football. The most important 5 minutes are first 5 and last 5 of a quarter, and 5 minutes within a goal being scored. So often see teams that go one up and they concede an equaliser very, very quickly. The French have to make sure they don't do that. Also, the Ukrainians have to make sure that they don't concede a second one, because that just makes their job an awful lot more difficult.
French trying to get a second quickly. Curti, it's played in, it's going to slide wide though. Keeper running just to make sure it was going by. Yaroslav Horny, the Ukrainian keeper. It's his 87th cap, the 33-year-old. Here it comes to Lockwood, who plays his club hockey in Belgium.
It's a good steal.
Going in a bit of trouble. Lockwood will try and help that despite the attention of Ali Shevchuk.
Just watch the work being done by the Ukrainian number 13 with the headband. He works very hard going across as the high forward, trying to keep the French centre back and sweeper from finding easy passes.
Falls through nicely here for Simon Martin Bresak, support back in Baumgarten. Good run in this, and again it's saved through the melee of bodies. And on the floor is the French player, but the Ukrainian side counter-attacking through, and Shevchuk and the run forward, saved from Oni Farouk, one of the youngsters on the Ukrainian side, one of the potential star players, but smothered away.
good example in that situation there, Callum, of why coaches ask their players to shoot across the goalkeeper.
Wonderful stealing that one back, but we'll stay with the Ukrainian side. A couple of loose moments from the French defence. Looks like a red card here.
Yeah, Olnichuk shot it across the goalkeeper, so the goalkeeper's save had to bring it back into play. It's mopped up well by the French defence, but at least it gave the Ukrainians another chance.
Well, Myelenko Yasinski's been yellow carded, so I guess it must be for top back because he was completely in a different part of the field. Nothing really went on in the middle of the park, but Ukrainians still have this chance, but losing out very quickly. But now a chance for the French to use the next few minutes. Now you can try and see the space. Instead,
great ball.
Excellent ball this. Wonderful movement. Saved again. Is it going to go in? No, it's not. It was tapped in by Van Straten. Not going to happen. Baumgarten, good work it was. Weaving in and out in the D.
Nice initial shot. Again, look at the goalkeeper lying down, but the second French shot didn't manage to take advantage of it.
Still very open this. Alexander Soliani lost the ball, and again flood forward here instead. The real playmaker so far. Can he help it on its way?
Great goal.
And they have scored. Etienne Taineves scored here a lot and enjoyed his time in the under-18s in Glasgow last summer. He's scoring here in this competition, and it doubles the French lead.
It's a very good reverse stick touch that as the pass is made in towards the circle, the straight ball, and it's just a reverse stick move past the goalkeeper, and then a touch in from the left forward, number 28, coming into the Taineves, coming in from the left hand side.
John Lauren Kiefer with the run forward onto Taineves that scored, and he's certainly adapted into playing at first team level. Scored 4 goals during the World League campaign when he came into the French senior side. Scored a couple of goals in that 11-2 win against Ukraine in the World League.
And that's where being one player down makes it very difficult. You lose a break, you don't have that cover defender, and gaps start to appear. It's very difficult for the defenders to pick up all the players, and you find passes like that make a difference.
Yeah, and just to confirm, the yellow card, a 10-minute yellow card, so it's something fairly severe to get that length of yellow card. So you didn't see anything in terms of a challenge. It looked like it must have been for some serious back chat, but French having to try and get this away. Christophe Peters-Dutz did not the best, because you kind of managed to pinch it back. Polishuk coming in, twisting and turning. Goal back would have been nice for them to stem the flow, but now once more instead in space. Nice ball from Dumont out wide. Martin Bressac, arms out the other direction. That'll end that.
Again, coach will be very disappointed that they didn't capitalise on that opportunity. The pass should have gone earlier, ended up flicking it and giving away a danger from a really good fast break.
Dali Kalinchuk up the other end for Ukraine. Can he keep it in? It is high, and that will come to an end there. Solomani couldn't keep it under his control.
It's interesting, isn't it? The Ukrainians seem to have more energy, more commitment now that they've gone down to 10. They're working harder. If they'd done this with 11, then, and they haven't done this in the previous game against Portugal, working at this intensity.
We are getting to the golden time where Ukraine seem to pick up in a quarter, but the French have it here. Goye, nice wee run to fling it wide. Lockwood in space wants it, he has got it. Van Straten in support. Not the best of passes, gobbled up by Pidgorny. Pavlichenko trying to work something here. Nice little play if he can get it back. Couldn't quite though. Nice squeeze through ball from Polishuk.
Good defending. Great interception.
Yeah, Amaury Wilmsey back there for France. He was instead driving engine once again in the middle of the park. Cross for Van Straten. Lockwood now. 3, 4, 5, 6 coming forward in blue.
French showing some quite good composure and patience. If the attacking ball isn't on, recycle and wait for a better one like that.
Nice ball, Jane Stett turns and scores into the corner. Keeper on the floor, no chance.
So they said nice composure with the French until they can find the penetrating pass. Pass in here, good pick up, spin on the tomahawk, and you can see because the keeper jumps his feet apart before the shot comes in, he can't actually get any wider. So the ball into the post just doesn't allow him to be able to reach it. So when the shot comes in, he jumps apart there, and then he can't get to the corner.
Well, this has been a real damaging period with the yellow card, particularly Hugo Genstedt with France's third, and may well be putting the game to bed before half time. Chef Shukful will try and have something to say about that. On a race to try and win that ball. Can't pick out a space and the break could be on. Ukrainians will have time to reset, but what's the plan from getting on with it as quickly as possible.
The French do really well when they get the Ukrainians in the corner there. They've got 2 or 3 people defending and 1 person covering, so if the Ukrainian does try and make the pass, then there's somebody there to intercept it.
Forward to Baumgarten.
Oh, asking a lot.
Overlap there, but it just stayed in play. There was a lot of speed on that ball.
Done. Oh.
Unfortunately, the pass didn't allow the French player to actually do anything with it. By the time he got to it, he was out of control.
Just gets in here by Lockwood. Kasper Baumgarten. Belanger again, Baumgarten, good link up. Into the circle. Dribbles away, but again, just patient and taking their time, making the most still of the extra man that they do have. Just spotted some good space here for Lockwood, and
yep,
no, they can't really call much more than a penalty corner there. It's pretty slam dunk that straight into the body of the Artem Pavlichenko, the Ukrainian player, penalised. Slam dunk. Officials, incidentally, umpires Anton Koshin of Russia and Eduardo Lozana of Spain, as the French look to try and get a 4th here in the final 4 minutes in this second quarter.
Wonder whether it's because of the French setup. Ukrainians have changed the corner defence from what they had against Portugal, showing a 3-1 at from the right hand post.
Going to be Lockwood. It's saved away, though, by Cordy.
Good save by the goalkeeper. Reasonable height for him. Surprised that the French aren't looking to use some of the options around the top of the circle now.
Nice ball space, and over it goes. Blasi and Roger came to him. Big pocket of space in the D. Things opened up for him. Thrown the stick off, but frustrated with the Everton goal. Forges, that was too easy for Baumgarten. The drive in, oh, and it's off the post there from Kiefer's effort. I think he's taking a little sore one in the head as well, accidentally.
Good reverse stick cross. Good space. First French player didn't quite get the connection that he was looking for. That one would have, if he'd scored it or touched it, I think it would have been a goal. Would have taken the goalkeeper out, but he lifted it and lifted it on to his colleague, who looks as though he might need a little bit of attention.
Certainly making a little walk off that's getting close to half time, so plenty of time to get a little magic ice pack on or something. Chenko, the Ukrainian captain, dispossessed.
French do a lot of really good defensive work where they channel and then try and steal the ball, and they work in groups.
Maybe a half a chance here, Kalinchuk, but can't keep it in his grasp. Could have got it in and behind. Lovely, Rogier. Pazic for companies decide to try and find a teammate in Deront.
He's so comfortable on the ball. Wasn't exactly where he wanted it, but managed to take it in his stride and keep going and gain a foul.
Lockwood fortuitously gets it back with the leg of Chenko. Lockwood, that was a sensational little pirouette. And he's going to squeeze in. Mayhem in the D. But they've somehow managed to get away with that, Ukraine.
I'm not sure the initial shot was actually inside the circle when the French player takes its hit. I think that's outside. But good double save by the goalkeeper. Gets across to get the rebound. Yeah, but with some impact.
Yeah, Baumgarten it was. It's right to say it wasn't quite inside the circle, so it needed the touch in there. Never found anything, just the keeper, but no one could follow up anyhow.
Very hard for the goalkeeper to make a decision, split-second decision as to whether that ball is in the line or not, so I don't think anybody would blame him for going for it.
Final 90 seconds then, and it was an open but tight affair after 15. A bit to and fro from both sides, but France have dominated the spell, still with a man like with Jasinski on the sidelines with that 10-minute yellow card for Ukraine. And now flung out for Forges and further support down that channel. Back it comes for Belanger.
It was good hockey because the ball didn't get to the person on the baseline with enough space or enough pace, so he'd recycled it so that they just a little bit of patience to.
Lockwood in a right old scrum.
Trying really hard to manufacture a penalty corner off the foot of the Ukrainian, and a bit of Ukrainian dancing going on by getting his feet in the air. Eventually going over for a hit out.
Ukraine back up to the full complement now.
It's a good ball.
It is a very nice ball. Ollie Polashuk couldn't take it quite under his grasp. But they will have it here at the final few seconds into a good spot was Diachenko. Didn't come through to him though, and France have cleaned up any risk there right at the end of the second quarter and the half-time hooter. And France has been a comfortable quarter, helped with the yellow card as well for Ukraine, but Kristoffer Peters-Jutz with the opening goal, and then very quickly Etienne Saint-Neves and Hugo Ginstedt adding to that to make it very comfortable at the half-time break. Ukraine 0, France 3. So we'll have a little look through the goals in a moment from the second quarter, but it's a complete different complexion now. The half-time scoreline, how it was 15 minutes ago.
Absolutely. Penalty corner, a good block, and then reverse tech shot. Goalkeeper wasn't balanced, so wasn't able to protect the space between his feet. Normal thing would be to say to your goalkeeper, you need to be balanced as soon as the shot's coming in. His feet are still moving, and the player on the post is unsighted because of the goalkeeper and doesn't see it till late. This is a super move, what we call changing lanes, drifts right so that the player going in a straight run, and then just a nice deflection past the goalkeeper, no chance. Defender didn't see the opportunity there for the forward, and so wasn't blocking it out. It's a good drift across to the right by the French midfielder. That's a great touch on the reverse, and good following up by the left winger to come in and just roll it into the goal, make it 2-0.
And this is goal number 3, Callum Hugo Ginstedt finishing off.
Just good pick up, spins out and then turns onto his reverse, and again, if you look at the goalkeeper, his right foot's at the right post, but he's sitting backwards, he's sitting down, so his left foot can't get to that corner. Because of that, anything inside the corner is going to be a goal. If you just watch it here, he sits back and down, and he can't get across to cover that last angle. And we spoke about that at the start, that the Ukrainian goalkeepers are slightly susceptible to that ball into the corner. That was a better quarter, obviously, for the French, including goals, but in terms of their corner penetration outcomes, significantly better. They were in the circle about 12 times, they had a couple of penalty corners, obviously had a field goal, and they also had a couple of field goals rather, and they also had a number of saves from the keeper. So the difference for that point was once they got into the circle, they were actually making the Ukrainians defend in the danger area.
So it's very convincing and comfortable for the French at the moment. We'll take a pause for the moment and we'll be back in a few minutes' time ahead of the second period, but at half-time, Ukraine 0, France 3. Welcome back then for the third quarter. We've had our half-time break pretty much, and we're almost set to go for this period, and it is very comfortable for France. Just joining us, today's confirmation: Peter Stewart, Teneves and Jinstedt with goals in a period where Ukraine were in a bit of bother with Nikolai Yasinski with a yellow card, a 10-minute yellow card, and we kind of had a little chat. You had a little chat downstairs, Neil. It was a tackle off the ball, which we were too busy following play, we never seen it.
Yeah, according to the technical table, it was for a very dangerous sliding tackle. And umpire must have deemed it to be very dangerous to a 10-minute yellow card right at the start. And as you say, that changed the complexion of the game. The French managed to get a couple of goals during that time and put the Ukrainians under pressure.
Ukrainians under a bit of pressure here quite quickly. Will there be any sort of reply? The Ukrainians had that good start, but I guess maybe out of all the games they were anticipating to defeat Portugal. Bounced up there, unfortunate for Moroz.
Yeah, defender didn't really get any height on his aerial and put his midfielder under pressure. But here's the French again with all 10 outfield players in the Ukrainian half, but just forcing a little bit. If they show a bit more patience like they did in the first quarter and the second quarter, and just wait for the opportunity to present itself. Great crossfield ball.
Stent at it again with the ball across.
That's a great goal.
That's a brilliant finish. Baumgarten has had a very good game, and they've continued where they left off in the second quarter after half time. And there's another goal for the French.
Brilliant. Jinstedt here, if you watch, he switches the play all the way across the left as the Ukrainians are just coming across to him, and so 3 or 4 of the players are taken out, and then they switch again as the players are getting back and find a free player in the circle, and a nice slap past the goalkeeper. Goalkeeper no chance.
And there's another look behind the goal. Executed very well.
Great execution. Remember we talked about critical periods, first 5 in every period, and there we are within a minute and a half of the second half starting. Ukrainian coach trying to get his players to play in a specific way, and this is them starting it now, but they've just lost another goal before they can even do that.
Now remember, I've mentioned already the 11 goals that France scored, 11-2 when it was at World League against Ukraine, so got to fear a little bit if they can't stop the tide. They're on down the channel for Jinstedt once more.
He's really stepped up, hasn't he? Got the captain's armband from Chavet, and he has been a real key player for the French today. He's been almost involved in all the good stuff they've done.
Took an act there of Shevchuk. Baumgarten. Jinstedt once more.
Interesting, Jinstedt went back to sweeper and pushed number 20 up for that long corner as though they had a set player. We're looking to get a specific outcome.
Ball here for Kiefer. Help from Baumgarten.
Great save.
Kiefer has had plenty of saves to do. If been 1 or 2 criticisms so far of some of his positioning. Now again, picking out the right pass. Across it goes now for Borges to spin it away. In fact, he found support, and what a ball that was across by Durant. Couldn't find Kiefer though. Just skiffed by Kiefer in the circle. A reminder in this group later on, 6:30. Scotland against Portugal. hoping we're going to jinx it now, but I think there'll be goals in that one, and hopefully from both sides. Portugal do just seem to play this attacking flair, maybe not quite the same fitness which we've seen against Ukraine, but we're great to watch. But Ukraine have stolen this, looking to try and get a goal on the board in this game. And Farouk across Koshelenko here to the left, and away it goes. Is it going to stay alive here for Moros? Not quite, as the French try to clear it away. Once or twice the French have had a little moment where they've been caught out. We've seen it maybe before the French started scoring goals, but they haven't quite taken the chance, Ukraine, when they've had the ball to capitalise on.
Yeah, I mean, that for the French keeper, that was a practice save. It was hand height, wasn't really having to do much. It wasn't going with an awful lot of pace.
Here's Alec Kurti, but dispossessed by Dayachenko. On the Farouk. Down the line it goes. Nice pick up from Kovalenko. Arm in the air. There's a sorry from Christoph Peters-Jutz.
Anna Farouk's playing really, really well for the Ukrainians. He's working hard defensively, and when he gets the ball as the lone forward, he really is trying to create things.
Trying to wriggle out was Janczynski, supporting Kovalenko. Nice run in here, and it is going to be a penalty corner for Ukraine. I think one or two European players, including the captain Dayachenko, looking for a bit more than that.
Well, this will be interesting. The French, when they were defending against Scotland yesterday, they only had about 3 or 4 defensive corners, but quite often they send their first runner from the defensive right post, which we don't normally recommend, because when they get to the top circle they're in front of the goalkeeper. The twice that they were going to send the runner from the left post, he actually broke the line and they end up having to defend with 3. So changed the formation today. Yesterday showed a 2-2, now they're showing a 3-1. Ukraine showing 2 castles top circle.
Dayachenko with the injection, and they have got the goal. And Paziuku did score a couple against Portugal from this sort of situation the other day, and he has got one back here for this side. A couple from the penalty corner on Sunday and one here.
Great strike, picks it up. The first runner's really not very close to him, so he's under no pressure. See where it goes from the post player's perspective in the replay, and see whether this gives Ukraine a bit of a boost. Post player well outside the post, probably too far to be able to make a difference there, and the ball was too powerful for the goalkeeper to get his hand across.
So third goal of the week. He scored 4 goals at World League for Ukraine in World League 1. All his goals coming in that stage. So very much a threat from penalty corners, as we've seen over the first couple of games here in Glasgow. Some of the Scottish players may well be watching and taking note for when they get round to that game.
A lot more urgency in the Ukrainian play now. Ooh, that's not a good
loose.
ball.
Very loose for Simon Martin Bresak. Needing a bit of help though. Tynevez is in the D. Hammer across, keeper gets across instead of Dumont. Dumont is there though, but it's away. And chance wasted for France.
I think I would have been looking for that last shot to actually be put back across goal, instead of the reverse stick attempt at the shot going past the near post.
One back again, very easily. Dumont did well. Kiefer across to a bit of fresh air. sliding away is Bojan
I
Kovalenko.
think that could be a card.
It's going to be a yellow card. So maybe a small glimmer, it would be a bit of a glimmer, but they have got a bit of an opportunity here in Ukraine now for the next little while. He's making the run off is Guillaume Durant.
I think Alan Meikle mentioned it on Sunday. It would appear that the umpires have been given advice to make sure that any tackles that you think are bad are blown up very, very quickly, and they're given yellow cards right away, where domestically we might consider it would have been a green card to start with. They don't seem keen to play the green card, and they're just going straight to yellow.
Any particular reason why they prefer that at this level? More punishing?
Maybe they just think that the players are more capable of creating a legal tackle, and so what they're trying to do is break up play rather than get the ball, and if that's the case, they'll play one short for a while. That's a great ball.
Quick space for Belanger. Rowland nicely looking forward to get it back.
Good save.
Well, he's making up plenty of saves. All right.
You have to say that was more or less at him, and with this saying Billy McPherson used to talk to us about, it's low for goal, high for glory, and if he'd put that one along the ground into the corner, it would have been a goal, but he flicked it at the keeper, allowed him to make the save.
It has been a tournament so far of some fantastic goals. I think still the favourite goes to Pedro Pinto of Portugal on Sunday, but here we go with the ball at pace. Not coming to anything for France.
Yeah, that was a great goal, wasn't it?
I think it's just because he's such a veteran as well.
I would have been interested to see it against a slightly taller keeper, because it did go over the Ukrainian keeper's left shoulder, and he's not as big as some of the other keepers, but he hit it with an amazing pace. The question would be to him, where were you meaning to put it?
Well, there was an equally pretty good goal which followed up. I think it was Kovalenko, wasn't it, that got the goal. He was stretching right in front of the goal, but he was stretching at full tilt to get it down into the net. So that game certainly had its fair share of goals, but I have seen one or two others across the first couple of days.
That was a tennis overhead smash. It just shows you the skills that the players have got now in these 3D.
Goyi making the run, but by goes also as well, as although the top sides are good, but there is still a heck of a lot of quality and show in the second tier.
Absolutely, lots very, very good hockey players. For those that maybe don't watch hockey all that often, when we talk about 3D, we're talking about the player lifting the ball in the air and skills in terms of whilst it's off the grass. A lot of the young players now are very adept at just picking the ball up and carrying it and moving it while it's in the air without allowing it to be dangerous.
Paziuk found Lupa. Spot out wide, that's flicked up off a foot of Francois Goyer. Back it comes for Paziuk. Gorney trying to fire in, and that was one or two little argy-bargy moments there. But no time to waste as France get on with it quickly, and again Dumont lively finding his teammate Martin Bressac.
Yeah, the Ukrainians thought that the Frenchman had made that dangerous with his miscontrol. Umpire blowing it the other way and giving it to France, deeming that the Ukrainian had made it dangerous by his action.
Was in a couple of minds. Dorneyville will try and help out its way, but came to no one, and now there could be a flood. Going to stay it once more. And in the road was Diachenko. Certainly has been pretty physical, Diachenko, and has been there trying to clean up a lot of times for Ukraine throughout the game.
French do well in terms of moving the point of attack very early, so that they don't very often give the Ukrainians time to set up their defence before they change the angle.
Down it goes into the corner, and Roger. Extent of the legs of Koshelenko, but France carry on. Bodies around, but they're only going to come back to Polashuk, away by everyone with the French colours. Tynevez. Nice little pass off by Van Straten. Back to Peter Stutz. Bellinger down for Elliot Curti, and it's going to be a penalty corner for France in the final minute.
A nice touch by the French forward. Just as the ball came across and the defender got set ready to stop it, he got his stick in just to get that first touch that played onto his foot. The French, when they play nice hockey, they move the ball from channel to channel, and as the Ukrainians get across to the player that has the ball's already moved. So it's very difficult for them to cover every space. Interesting that when Genesee is not on, they're not as effective. He's been a key player for them so far.
Nicolas Dumont heading across for the injection here. And it is Genesee this time with another save.
I still don't understand why they don't just slip it from that first Genesee castle to the left. They've got big space and there's nobody coming out that side. They don't seem to have the pace of flick to actually beat the goalkeeper.
Break here for Kovalenko and Ukraine. Couldn't tee it back up across for Onafaruk though. And that might well have put a little bit of a doubt in the French minds as we head towards the end of the quarter. Control from Van Straten, it's coming at him, which will come to the end of this third quarter. And well, I think one positive we can see from this, French had a 5-minute yellow period, but Ukrainians scored after. Baumgarten made it 4-0. Kind of thought, well, this could be a big score, but Paziuk got one back, penalty corner, and they just kind of stemmed the tide a little bit, the Ukrainians.
Yeah, they've been trying to set up plays coming down the side rather than going through the middle where the French have been picking them off. But I think this is the French goal. Great change of angle. So Ukrainians are coming across and then it gets changed again to the right hand post and a great sweep. So they changed the point of attack 2 times very quickly and didn't allow the Ukrainians. You can see it from here, the Ukrainian defence having to run across and backwards, and then when they go across there it comes to the other side. Nice first touch, puts it in the right place. Goalkeeper, as all goalkeepers, unhappy. This is the penalty corner, comes to the right hand castle. First runner doesn't really get close, and it would be interesting, Calm, I can't remember the number of the player, but I think the French against Scotland, I think they they were down to 3 players a couple of times at the defending corners because one of them broke the line, and I think it was that guy, which would explain why he's maybe not as quick off the mark.
Yeah, there was a couple of times, there was a couple of jump starts from the French in that Scotland game, and just broke up a little bit, but Pazuc has been lethal. Although different opposition, a lesser opposition you might well say against Portugal, but that's 3 penalty corners, 3 goals. So we've talked about certain players at penalty corners, talked about Gareth Furlong for Wales, that's another player that's benefited from that situation and scored. So as I say, Scotland may well be watching on for the game they've got after tonight's encounter against the Portuguese, who were around behind us watching on in the stand, but they'll be getting ready to feature after this one.
The French did well in the first half. I don't think they gave away a penalty corner. Nope. So
it's the first one.
You have to say that you've done a good job from a defensive perspective, that you've restricted them to 1 penalty corner in 3/4 of the game.
Because it goes to Dimitro Lupa, as another player that can score from penalty corners, as we've seen against Portugal. Hasn't really been used though in that situation, not had many opportunities to be fair. That's one back here. Kosciuszko, nice ball. Kosciuszko, and well, they've managed to smuggle it back, and Maury Bellinger back just to disrupt that, and that was big because that might have just put a few doubts in.
Goalkeeper did well, stood up and allowed a defender to get back and put a stick in there for that deflection. I would make a comment that the first Ukrainian guy ran straight at the goalkeeper and didn't move him, which made it a wee bit easier for the defenders. If he just moved it a wee bit to the side, it would have he would have taken the momentum away, or the initiative away from the keeper. What he did was he let the goalkeeper actually make that play.
Switching a turn at the other end. Martin Bresak and might fall for Baumgarten, goes a little stray though. The Ukrainians thought they had it back briefly, but French will try and just keep ball a little bit here.
French are very good at making that first defence tackle very quickly.
Nice ball, Goye, but he couldn't find a teammate in blue, and well picked up in that defence. That's a lovely ball it was from Kovalenko, who's trying to get it back. It's scrappy.
This is what we call ping pong. Up and down, up and down. The French need to again start getting outcomes in the circle.
Baumgarten.
That's 4 times they've been in the circle in the last minute and a half, and they haven't shown the composure that you would expect from them to just get an outcome, whether it's a corner or whether it's connecting with a teammate. They've thrown the ball away into areas where they've expected a teammate to be, rather than holding on just a fraction longer and making sure that you've got him.
Dumont for Goye. Back it comes for Dumont. Goye once more. Queuing up to score, but queuing up was a load of defenders.
Yeah, what happened was the 3 Ukrainians got between the French guy and the ball and his teammates, and he really didn't have a pass to get to.
Right from Borges getting in, and Jasinski trying to mug it away, but Armin's out. I think they're going to get the advantage. Ukraine to try and clear it. Marchenko trying to help it in its path. They will get a bit of a respite because it's been a bit intense from the French over the last couple of minutes.
What's this guy left?
Yeah, picking up there, Artem Povlichenko, but it's back again with Franz Dumont. Taineves trying to skip by. That's going to be dangerous, but Ukraine will get it away. Air hit from Peter van Straten. Nice ball from Kosciuszko.
Boy, left
Shevchuk.
post.
Oh, and it's dragged, and Povlichenko Well, he spotted him about 30 seconds ago in a separate move. He was in space. He was in that space on the left side again, but can't find the target.
Yeah, very disciplined. He's held that position and left it up to his teammates to get him the ball. A lot of young players will go looking for the ball. What he did there was say, well, I'm in a space. It's up to my teammates to get me the ball. I think the French coach would, be slightly disappointed at the composure that his players are showing in the circle. They're getting into the circle with some lovely hockey, playing good moves, pass and move, and then they're trying to do something special.
I'm up for Van Straten. Back with France and Guillaume Durant, who did have that yellow card, but it wasn't too punishing. 25-year-old Durant, over 100 caps now for France.
Genestet quite upset there because he'd made a lovely lead into a huge space and nobody saw it.
Nice ball from Peter Stutes. He's going to try and get it back. Wheels turns and saved. Genestet there thought off the foot. Penalty corner, they'll take that.
Great first touch. Lovely build up. Coming down the inside left channel. Then cutting it across into the centre. Player needed to take a little bit longer to make sure he got it in the bottom corner, but keeper made a reasonable save. Came back out to Genestet, and his first touch, all he was interested in was outcome. First touch with the reverse stick onto the foot of the Ukrainian.
So Nicolas Dumont again for injection, and France looking to try and find number 5.
I think Genestet has come to the right hand castle this time. See what they do.
It's going to be Peter Stutes.
Penalty stroke.
Going to be off the body, and it's off the captain by the look of it, Danchenko. Pretty easy for the umpire to make up his mind there.
I think they're waiting to see whether the player had stepped outside the post and whether the ball was going into the goal or whether it was going past. The umpires will be conferring over that. There's no doubt it hit the body, but where was the guy standing and what was the track of the ball?
Yeah, they've switched it to a penalty corner. So a small bit of leniency after a little conversation. Obviously no video referral, so just take their time. We've seen some good patient umpiring, so tricky decisions. They're going to have a bit of a chat. Good to see.
But that's what the disengaged umpire's role is, to make sure that he's standing in line so he can see whether the ball's actually going into the target. So good teamwork from the umpires.
So another try for Dumont.
There is an option from the top circle to switch left that takes out the runners if they ever think about using it.
It is Peter Stutes once more. It's high and away.
So they've had a number of penalty corners, the French. The runners are getting out, goalkeepers making saves. They haven't really changed anything, even just to put the Ukrainians into two minds. Ouch.
That was a bit of a slow one for Andriy Koshalenko. Right in the kneecap, I think.
But you see the thing that Genestet is trying to do there. As the Ukrainian guy is coming to close him down, he's changing the position of the ball. He's moving it somewhere else. So that guy then can't, A, he can't tackle him, but B, he can't get back to do something to the next action because he's still moving forward towards the player with the ball. So here's the penalty corner. First runner well out, good deflection, but there are options round about him that at the moment, now it may be that the French feel that they don't want to use them just now. They may want to save them for the semi-final or another game.
Don't give too many things away.
They think this game, well, you've got 9 minutes to go, you're 4-1 up, you may not want to show something that you want to keep for a more important time.
Curtsy with the ball for Van Straten.
It's a nothing ball. There wasn't a teammate there. He was just rolling it into space. Well, that's a good touch.
Not quite falling for Kovalenko. Nice run made from Genestet.
But look who's with him.
Having to do it
No.
all on a solo mission.
Number 13 from the Ukrainian team,
Faruk.
Onfruk, who was the number 1 striker, who's doing all that running, was the only guy that tracked the French centre midfield all the way down the left touchline. I think one of the things that frustrates players a little bit is, I understand from the umpire's perspective that ball was not exactly on the spot that the foul took place, but he got the ball in play really quickly. Did he gain an advantage? Only by playing the ball really quickly.
Curti, it's a good ball back to him. And it is a goal. And it is a goal for Jean-Laurent Kiefer, who has been lively throughout the game. Probably one of those players that deserves it, who's been in the D sniffing for a goal, and he's got one here.
Yeah, he just sits at the back post, doesn't he? Lets the attack go down the right hand side, drops off. Nobody picking him up till late. Number 12 coming in, and you can see the goalkeeper having a bit of remonstration with him about not having picked up the player there. He just drops back a little bit here. Nobody picks him up.
Nice moment on your 75th cap. I'm just hearing, I don't know if anyone else heard that, but I think they're going to give that actually to Elliot Curti, who got the final touch on the line. Didn't look like it in the replay, certainly from the first look, but they're going to give it to him anyway. But Kiefer was celebrating, so he might be a bit annoyed about that later on. Here's Francois Goye, back he goes. France certainly got their goal, but certainly would describe this quarter as a bit scratchy from them. I know the game was won effectively.
Interesting, if you look at just now the way French are playing at the back, Genestet, who was the centre midfield.
Space just opening up into the D, penalty corner, Victor Lockwood making a good run.
Yeah, Genestet, who's their centre midfield, has dropped off to sweeper, and he's let one of the other guys go up to centre midfield, so it means they don't have to take him off to get a rest. He can go back and play around the back four, manipulate the ball for a while, and then once he recovers to be able to do his running, he steps back into the middle of the park. Obviously, having lost Chavet, it's a way of manipulating or looking after him from a fitness perspective without having to take him off the park and lose his influence totally.
It's going to be a different little routine. Simon Martin Bressac this time to inject for France.
And Genestet on the first castle on the left, and
it's going to be Genestet turns away off the foot from the keeper Horde.
With losing Chavet, they've lost that penalty corner threat that they had previously. They don't have anybody of a similar threat from the top circle, and that's going to be a difficult one for them, assuming they get through the semi-finals.
Yeah, if you watch the recent World League semi-final coverage, for instance, Johannesburg, Charlie with 6 goals across the whole of the World League, but as mentioned, Neil, very important at penalty corners.
Great.
Van Straten.
For any young player that's watching, if they watch Genestet, the way he uses his body to show a pass and then put it somewhere else. He does the simple things very, very well and makes his other players look really good. That's good defensive work.
Kosciuszko trying to keep it in play, but Peters Jutz is there.
So number 20 has gone up into the point, into centre mid, and Geneste is playing as one of the two back players.
Cross from Lockwood for Guillaume Durant. Back from Forges and Geneste again, just anchoring right at the back, as you see, taking I guess a bit of a breather and just playing the passes never required.
Step back up again, try and press the Ukrainians. It's a great break.
And that is Simon Martin Bresak. Looking for numbers and well, he'll get the ball back, but it wasn't the best.
Criticism there is he's the one of the players that holds on to the ball there. If he'd released it as he got there, the defender would still have been coming over, but by holding on to it, allows the defender to close him down, makes it a lot easier for the Ukrainians to control the ball and bring it out.
Marchenko cleaning up. Again, it's a bit of a siege, but Ukraine might be able to just sneak a little breakaway. Kovalenko
Back
was out
post
there
again.
to the right. Pavlichenko, it's going to be kicked away. Yeah, Pavlichenko was out there on the left, waiting for it. In the middle was Kalinchuk.
He gets into really good dangerous positions. Nice clearance by the goalkeeper. Takes out the danger area, out the 23, and makes the Ukrainians bring it back again.
Pasiuk, plenty of time on the ball.
Good marking, good side marking by the French.
Tiny Vez comes away with it. With the French.
Good umpiring by both umpires, letting play go on to see whether the French were able to continue with the possession and only blowing the whistle, blowing up the foul when there was no clear advantage.
Forges once more. One of the many number of players obviously mentioned about came from the Junior World Cup, but because of this 4-year spell, a lot of them are in the mid-20s and already hitting around 100 caps or over 100 caps. It's pretty incredible.
And you've got people with 100 caps, they tend to make good decisions and they know where their teammates are because they played a lot together. So down to last minute and a half. Love the enthusiasm of the Ukrainian coach. He's still demanding quality from his team, still demanding them to do what he's asked them to do and build the play up. But the French are making it difficult for them.
For Pavlichenko, and back it comes. Andrei Kosciuszko is high. Something a bit different for Kalinchuk. Can't quite get it under his grasp.
But Pavlichenko's discipline in hugging this left touchline has been good, hasn't it? He hasn't got the service that maybe he would have wanted, but he's been there in the space waiting for his teammates to create something for him.
Great stuff from Baumgartner again. Bit frustrated, nothing came of that. Into the final 15 seconds. He's picked out a nice little spaceman. Baumgartner to the right here, but here is Lockwood. Baumgartner. Final few seconds. And away it'll go, and that will do. And it is 3 points on the board for France. A 5-1 comfortable win. Nothing quite as big as the World League scoreline of 11-2. Ukraine had that spell in the second quarter, which maybe was just the moment made it put the game too far for them. And in the end, the French did enough after the defeat against Scotland. They've bounced back well. Some maybe scratchiness in there, particularly in the final quarter, but I think for them, after the other night, it is 3 points and they've got their momentum. Here's a look at the goals.
Yeah, it's a good block there, and then onto the reverse side, and a nice reverse leg hit by Christoph Peters into that. Great effort by the defender to try and stop that final one on the line, but that got the French started. This was a great through ball. Geneste again finding the space, and for young players wanting to watch anybody, watch him. He knows where the ball's going before he gives the pass, before he even receives the ball. He knows where he's going with it. Great through ball, gets the defender square, puts it through. Great reverse touch, take it away from the goalkeeper, and support play by 28 Tineves coming in at the back post. This was a bit of composure again. Geneste turns inside, then turns outside, and his tomahawk into the far post, past the outstretched foot of the Ukrainian goalkeeper.
So this was during the spell. Tineves, Geneste, Baumgarten. This was this period where there was goals. Obviously, the first three were pretty close together, and that was 3-0. This is going to be number 4 into the third quarter.
And again, nice passing move, started by Geneste in a right midfield position, moves it over to the left. The Ukrainian team struggling to get there, and then the ball pushed over to the right for slap into the goalkeeper's right hand side. So Ukrainian penalty corner. Already said that the French player slightly slow off the line, but a still quality drag flick from Paziuk. Post player well outside the post. I'm not sure, even if he stretched with his stick, he could have got it. Not sure he looked interested in getting it. And then it was back to the French building things down the right hand side. Nice 1-2, and then play to the back post.
So that's kind of the story there. There it is behind the goal. It was probably one rare glimpse of a good moment for the French, because they were a bit quiet in that final quarter.
Actually, I think the reason it was given to the player who crossed it was it came in off the Ukrainian's foot and went over the goal from there. It didn't actually get to the
to the player. Took a touch. Well, Kiefer was celebrating, so he might be a bit annoyed about that one later on. But there's confirmation of the 5 goals. So we've seen France play pretty well, just not quite working out for them against Scotland. Obviously, great goalkeeping from Scotland. One here, maybe at a second or third year, not quite at their best. What's the assessment of France so far?
You know, when we looked at the pools, if things went to form, then Scotland and France should come into the semi-finals from this pool. They have had the best preparation in terms of the Hockey World League semi-finals. They played against the top teams in the world. France were playing against Australia and New Zealand and teams like that. Scotland were playing India, Netherlands, teams like that. So they were playing at a higher level than they would normally do, and they are here. So you hope that gives them the opportunity to continue playing at that intensity, which should make it hard for the Portugals and the Ukraines. Ukraine are a good side, and I think Scotland should beat Portugal tonight. They have to make sure that they beat Ukraine in their game, and then you'll have France and Scotland qualifying from this group. The other group is quite interesting. The 1-1 draw between the Czech and Russia makes the Wales and Russia game really interesting, and we'll just have to wait and see how that one goes. But I would still think that Wales are a good side, and I would put them on getting through at the semi-final, and I suspect Russia, because of their ranking, they should be the other side that go through from that group.
Well, Neil, good to get your thoughts. I think it's Friday, or Wednesday. I'm sure we'll probably see you around, but in commentary, maybe Friday morning we'll have you, and we'll have you on Saturday as well. So good to get your thoughts, and we'll see you then.
Thanks, Carl.
Enjoy the Scotland game coming up, and we will be back in a short while. 6:30 is the game. Scotland against Portugal. With a big home crowd, but it should be a good game, an attacking game from both sides. Do join us then. But final score from the opening game of day 3: Ukraine 1, France 5.